Hi there. I've had the SR286 receiver now for just coming up for a week, and I thought it would be worth having a little chat about overall what I thought of the value for money, the build quality and so on, because I've read a few things online and there's been a few comments on my my first video on this radio, so I thought I'd address at least my thoughts on all of this. The price point of this, I think it was somewhere around the region of 120 UK pounds I paid for this. Okay, it is expensive when you think of what it is. It's a very small little radio. It doesn't have SSB. That doesn't worry me really, because if I was to use this for travelling, you'll have seen from my earlier videos last year that I take in addition to the D808 that I took on holiday with me last year, I took the Belka DX, which is a superb receiver for SSB and also for the HF bands, but the model I have doesn't cover anything below 1.6 megahertz or 1.5 megahertz, and it obviously doesn't cover FM. So I had the D808 for FM medium wave, and I had the Belka for everything else, and that's the way that I would use this radio if I was travelling with it. I'd be using this on Longwave medium wave and band 2 FM and the Belka for everything else. Wasn't an issue for me. You'll see from some of the videos now that have come out on this radio and some of mine, I think the performance of this is very good, so I'm reluctant to say it's not worth the money, but it is a little bit more expensive than some of the radios we're used to. And it's more expensive, for example, than the Qodosen 808 or the Texan PL330, both of which have SSB, but they have a lot of shortcomings that maybe this radio doesn't have. One, particularly if you're interested in the long wave band, this radio performs well there. The 330 and the D808 don't. They're absolutely extremely insensitive on long wave. Build quality, I've seen a couple of criticisms of build quality, and I saw a statement somewhere that someone had one that it rattled, something loose in the case. This one doesn't. My opinion, build quality, think of the, again, the XH Data or Qodosen, as mine is called, D808. I think build quality is very similar. It seems okay, reasonably robust. You know, it looks like a professional radio. I would say the build quality is certainly better than one of these the original 6686s, which really look like a kit that somebody else has put together. That's what I said about the ATS 20 and 25 series of radios, if you recall. And I get a very similar feeling with this 6686, but it does work well on band 2 FM. But this seems a little better put together. Now, it was undoubtedly the most expensive item that I've ordered from AliExpress. This is where this radio came from. I wasn't overly concerned by that. I've ordered quite a lot from AliExpress. I've had no problems. I've had one item in particular that was non-functional. It was an amateur radio accessory, and I was able to get a full refund on that without any quibbles. So I was fairly confident in ordering from AliExpress. This came within about a week of ordering. Now when it came, I didn't do an unboxing video. I don't normally do them, but it came in a very nondescript cardboard box. It wasn't particularly well packed. It was kind of loose in a plain cardboard box with a bit of packing material around it. Luckily it arrived intact, but it didn't have its own sort of manufacturer's box or anything like that. And when it came, as I've said in my first video, it comes without a battery. It takes an 18650 rechargeable battery. One is not included. It does come with a little USB, a mini USB charging lead, and it comes with quite a nice little soft case to store it in. But that's it, no manual and no battery. So be prepared for that. And the packaging, well, not the best. And interestingly enough, there was no, you know, you can normally get these plastic films, protective films over the screen. There wasn't one of those. You probably can't see it in my videos, but in fact there were a few scratches on the screen. Nothing major, and probably with some of this polishing compound or whatever you could get rid of them. I'm not overly concerned, but I did see a similar comment on another video or on a Facebook group. Incidentally, there's a Facebook group now for these SR286s. I did see someone else say that theirs arrived with a couple of little scratches on the screen. So they almost give the impression of like a prototype radio, really. And if you read Radio J. Allen's article, he suggests that the maker of these radios may be having difficulty sourcing more 6686 chips. So it may be that these are a limited run of receivers, I don't know. So if you're thinking of pulling the trigger on one of these, it may be best not to wait too long. Stocks may run out, but I'm just going by what was said in Radio J. Allen's article. There may be loads of them around. They're still being advertised on AliExpress as of today anyway. As for the design, a couple of people have likened it to design of certain Sony receivers. Apparently, the designer of this radio, the Chinese, obviously a Chinese designer, also designed the Eaton Satellite. I think it's the Eaton Satellite Elite. I'll try and put a picture of the Eaton receiver up on the screen now against this SR286, and there are, I've looked at the pictures, I don't have one of the Eatons, but I've looked at the pictures and they do indeed look very similar, so that may explain a lot. So those are the things really I wanted to address just quickly about this. So far you'll have seen a couple of my videos now. I'm very impressed with this radio. I haven't yet had the experience. Radio J. Allen's article says when he was tuning this radio on FM, he found stations with it that just didn't appear on other receivers. I haven't quite had that experience, but it is very sensitive on FM. But where it really has surprised me, and it's been a very pleasant surprise, is on the Longwave band. Now in Europe, so from here in the UK, there is still a number of stations that transmit on Longwave that are receivable. For example, we still have BBC Radio 4 on Longwave, which is a very strong signal here. I think that may be closing down this year sometime. But I think there's also Morocco and Algeria on Longwave. And I've been able to pick these up with the SR286, both on its internal ferrite and obviously much more strongly with the external Bonnie whip antenna. And what really shocked me was that I found this was better on Longwave than one of my communications receivers. I did compare it to the Yaesu FRG 8800, which in the past I thought was pretty decent on Longwave, but this is better. It's better by a long way. So that's interesting. So that's quite a little chat about, you know, what I think of the radio generally, and the build quality and the pricing. Just my opinion. A lot of people will feel differently. I know a lot of people will discount this radio because it hasn't got sideband. I don't really need sideband because I've got many other receivers that will do it. And if I was travelling with this radio, it's light enough, I'd be inclined to take the Belka DX as well. And then I've got a really good, basically pocket communications receiver for shortwave, and then I've got this for FM, medium wave and long wave. And you've already seen, hopefully if you've watched my band scan video, how well this performs on those bands. So thanks for watching. Look out for the next videos. We'll do some comparisons with a D808. We'll do some comparisons with this one on FM. And we'll also look at some of the button presses, the key presses that we need to take advantage of the various facilities this radio's got. But if you are going for one of these, I advise that you download the manual, and if you can, to print it out. That's what I've done. It's about a 32-page A4 manual, and it does contain a lot of information if you want to use this radio to its full advantage. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.